The morning sun spread warm golden light across the quiet farm pond. In a nest made of soft reeds and feathers, a mother duck waited patiently. One by one, 5 tiny yellow ducklings cracked their shells and tumbled into the world. Chirping with excitement, they were fluffy, bright, and perfect. But one egg remained. It was larger than the others, and strangely pale. The mother duck tilted her head. The other animals gathered around the nest. "Maybe it's rotten," one hen whispered. "Or maybe it's just slow," said the old goose. Finally, crack, the shell broke open. But the bird that stepped out didn't look like the others. He was tall. His feathers were messy and grey. His neck looked too long. His legs looked too big. And instead of cheerful chirping, he made an awkward croaking sound. The farm went quiet. The ducklings stared. The hens began whispering, "That one looks odd. Is that even a duck?" The little grey bird looked around, confused and nervous. He didn't understand why everyone was staring. All he knew was that the world already felt colder. As the days passed, the yellow ducklings grew quickly. They swam together. They waddled together. They laughed and splashed through the pond. But the grey bird was always left behind. When he tried to join the games, the others scooted away. "You're too big," one duckling complained. "You splash too much," said another. The hens laughed when he walked by. "Look at those long legs. Look at those ugly feathers." Even the farm cat arched its back when it saw him. The little grey bird tried his best to be friendly. He shared food. He moved carefully so he wouldn't bump into anyone. But no matter what he did, the teasing never stopped. At night, he sat alone at the edge of the pond, watching the moon ripple across the water. "Why am I so different?" he whispered. One chilly evening, after another day of laughter and cruel jokes, the grey bird made a quiet decision. He stood up, looked at the farm one last time, and slowly walked away. The world beyond the farm was much bigger than he expected. Tall grass stretched across the fields. Dark forests whispered with wind. Cold marshes spread across the land like frozen mirrors. The grey bird wandered alone. Days passed, then weeks. Food was harder to find. And winter arrived with icy breath. The lakes froze. The wind grew sharp. Sometimes he hid deep in the reeds just to escape the freezing air. One evening, while the sky glowed pink and orange, something magical happened. A flock of enormous white birds appeared overhead. They were graceful. Beautiful. Their wings moved like slow waves in the sky. They called to each other with soft musical sounds. The grey bird watched them fly south, disappearing beyond the clouds. His chest felt tight, not from cold, but from something deeper. "I wish I could be like them," he murmured quietly, "but they would never accept someone like me." So he stayed hidden in the frozen marsh while winter slowly crawled by. Months later, the ice finally began to melt. The wind softened. Tiny green plants pushed through the muddy ground. Spring had returned. The grey bird stretched his wings. They felt stronger. Now larger. He flew for the first time in many weeks, gliding across the bright blue sky. Below him, he spotted a clear, sparkling lake. And swimming in that lake were 3 of those magnificent white birds. Swans. They moved across the water like floating clouds. The grey bird's heart pounded. He knew he didn't belong there, but something inside him refused to turn away. "I can't hide forever," he whispered, "even if they chased him away, even if they laughed like the others." He needed to know. So he folded his wings and slowly landed on the lake. The water rippled around him. The swans turned their heads. They were looking straight at him. The grey bird lowered his eyes. "Go ahead," he murmured softly. "I know I don't belong." The lake became still. Quiet. No splashing. No angry cries. The grey bird waited. But nothing happened. Confused, he slowly lifted his head. The water beneath him had turned into a perfect mirror, and in that mirror, he saw something unbelievable. The scruffy grey feathers were gone. His wings were wide and strong. His neck curved elegantly across the water. His feathers were dazzling white. The bird staring back at him wasn't a clumsy duck. It was a swan, a beautiful swan. The other swans glided closer. One gently brushed his wing. Another nodded calmly, as if welcoming him home. For the first time in his life, the grey bird understood. He had never been strange. He had never been wrong. He had simply been growing into who he was meant to be. The swans lifted their wings. The grey bird, now a proud white swan, spread his own wings beside them. Together, they rose into the sky. The wind carried them across lakes, forests, and shining rivers. And for the first time ever, the air beneath his wings felt right. He wasn't alone anymore. He had finally found where he belonged, not because he changed, but because he discovered who he truly was. Sometimes the world judges you before it understands you, but being different doesn't mean being wrong. Sometimes it simply means you haven't discovered your true place yet. If this story touched your heart, remember, someone out there might feel just like that little bird once did. So be kind, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.